But welcome you guys. We're
Right.
gonna have other guests come on here, but I want to make this official. Thank you guys for coming on. This is a Savage Syndicate live Zoom call. We have a lot of guests coming. We have a lot of guests asking questions. We have a lot of guests, don't know if it's for them. Are they at the right level? All these different questions I get, and I figure I would just have a Zoom call to answer a lot of the questions that I get, go over a little bit of the curriculum. I don't want to give everything away, but just to give people an idea of what the 2 days is going to look like. So that way we can kind of, if anybody asks, I can put the replay out here if they couldn't make this live one. So again, thank you guys for coming. We'll jump right into it. I may be letting people in here as we go. This is the first time I've ever used this share screen with Canva. So if things get a little squirrely, I apologize, but technology, you either love it or I guess you just got to love it. That's the only option. So,
Figure
well,
it
first
out.
off,
Yep.
the date of the event is February 25th and 26th in Dana Point, California. We have people coming from the East Coast. So to me, I live out in the area, and I always say Dana Point, California. It's like, well, everybody knows where Dana Point is, but I realized very quickly that a lot of people haven't been to Orange County. They don't know where Dana Point is. So Dana Point is a beautiful beach location out here in South Orange County. We have surfing, we have the palm trees, it's a very picturesque, touristy town. And I get a lot of people say, well, how hard do you have to be to kill, or how hard to kill are you have to be out there? It's a beachy, there's no crime, there's no this, there's no that. And I tell them there's crime everywhere. And I'm going to give you a quick brief. I'll tell you a quick story real quick. I was at the dentist today with my 9-year-old son, and there's a surf spot out here called Strands. And right below Strands are 20, $30 million homes. Oprah Winfrey has a home down there. And nobody thinks that crime ever happens. Well, this woman said her friend was going down there, watching the sunset, because it's a beautiful sunset. She comes back up to her car. There's a white note with substance on it in her door handle. And this is Orange County, rich area, right? And she did the smart thing. She says, I don't even know this girl. I didn't tell her, I haven't taught her or anything. She says, this is very odd. She jumped in her friend's car, called 911. They came out. Good thing she called. It was harmful substance on this material, on this thing. And I don't know. I'm going to interview her for my podcast, but she is in a program. The cops were able to identify that she was in a system for human trafficking. She was targeted. She was on notice. They were going to grab her. They were going to take her. And this is Strands, which is right down where we're going to be training at Peaceful Warrior. But it blew my mind. Like, I know bad shit happens, but to hear something like that, human trafficking story, this close to home, just makes me want to get my message out there even more. But so this is Dana Point. Overall, it's a safe place to be, but crime happens everywhere, and that's why I try to get my message out as much as I can. So the 25th, 26th, Dana Point, California. It's at a place, Peaceful Warrior Jiu-Jitsu, which is where I train. My son trains. My wife actually trains there. It's a great location. It's right down the street from the beach. 30, 40 people go in there each night to train. So it's a great facility. We have bags, we have mats, we have everything we need to make you guys hard to kill. So it's Peaceful Warrior. When you guys sign up, I know you guys have already signed up, but when you sign up, you get an itinerary. The hotels where to stay at. You get everything, to try to make it easy for you guys. I want you guys to focus on being hard to kill and learning. I don't want you to have to think about what hotel to stay at, what food should I get, where's this, where's that. If you ever feel like you have any questions, ask me and I'll help you out in that regard. But you do get a list of cool things to do out here and places to stay once you sign up. So that's the location. Most of the time it's sunny. Right now we're waiting for our about 5th storm of the year already. We're only a couple days into the year, but we're getting bogged down by rain out here. But hopefully it'll be sunny and beautiful out here in California. Our instructors, let me go to the next slide here. Hope this works. Our instructors here, right here is Ian McCall. If you watch UFC at all, he's a UFC veteran. He is a badass individual. He's been fighting for most of his life. He is now helping people. He trains with. I had him on my podcast last year, just when I was a fan and reaching out to him and saying, "Hey, do you want to be on a podcast?" We then ended up training together. He trains at Peaceful Warrior. He does jiu-jitsu. He trains Muay Thai. This guy right here is a wealth of knowledge. He knows more about fighting and self-defense and how to protect yourself than most people will forget. I mean, just to me, I'm a geek. I'm like, I love to learn everything I can about fighting. This is one of the wealth of information about anything you want to know about fighting. He's going to teach you guys striking, right? I know how to strike, but my theory is if you're the best one in the room, you're in the wrong room. So what I've done here is surround myself and help you guys learn from the best in the industry, the people with the experience, the people who do this, one, for a living. He used to be a professional fighter, and two, they also teach. So I wanted to give you guys the access to the people in the community that I've been surrounded by for 20 plus years. So Ian falls in that category. He's a great guy. Another myth that I want to dispel is that fighters, you look at these group of guys right here, this is Nick, look kind of scary, right? They look like they're mean, burly dudes that you don't want to approach. Nicest guys in the world. Each one of these guys, even though Nick's not smiling, he's a big teddy bear. Everybody, let me add one more guy in here.
Oh, I see him, yeah.
A lot of people have the misnomer that fighting and fighters in general are a nasty group, right? They're scared to go into a dojo. They're scared to go into any kind of place that's going to teach you how to defend yourself. And that's what I want to dispel as well. I want to give people the knowledge and the know-how of what it feels like to go into a gym for the first time. So these guys right here are the guys. I have a couple other instructors, but these ones are the ones I posted here. I have Ian McCall, Alex Aguilar. He's my BJJ black. He has a BJJ. Let me mute this guy. He has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So we never want to, as fighters and protectors, we never want to go to the ground. We never want to take a fight to the ground. Obviously in jiu-jitsu, that's where we go, that's where we're comfortable, that's what we do. But in a street fight, and if an attacker's on you, you don't want to go to the ground. I think it's for obvious reasons, but once you do get to the ground, because 90%, 95% of the fights do end up on the ground, you need to learn how to protect yourself on the ground. You need to do enough damage to the perpetrator, the attacker. I'm not saying take on a person. Like if you weigh 125 pounds and the guy's 250 and he takes you to the ground, I'm not saying I'm going to give you the skills to go toe to toe with that guy on the ground. What I am going to give you, and what Alex is going to give you, and Nick and Ian and Corey, they're going to give you enough skills to where you're going to cause enough damage to your attacker to get up and run, right? I'm not going to train you for a UFC event. I'm not going to train you for the next jiu-jitsu competition. I am going to train you and give you the basic fundamental skills to make an attacker's life hell. And that's what I want you guys to learn is to, for the smallest person to the largest, oldest, it doesn't matter. You can cause enough pain to a human being where they're going to flinch, they're going to move, and you're going to create space and you're going to jet, you're going to move, you're going to run. There is no shame in running away from a fight. We avoid confrontation at all costs, but shit happens and you need to know how to defend yourself. So Alex, when the fight goes to the ground, he is going to help you, teach you, learn the basic fundamental skills of arm bars, submissions, how to choke people, how to get up quickly. For the females, it's a bad scenario, but rape scenarios. We get in jiu-jitsu, we call it the guard, where you're inside somebody's legs, and there is some damage that you can do. A lot of people think, oh, if I'm in a submissive position, I can't do anything. Wrong, 100% wrong. There are some nasty things that you can do to ruin your attacker's life and make it really hard for him to continue doing what he's doing. So that's what Alex is going to teach you, the groundwork. Nick Smith, right here, Mr. Happy down here, he is the owner of Peaceful Warrior Jiu-Jitsu. He also he has his own company in security, an executive protection company. He's an ex-para-rescue armed forces or military, and he knows close quarter combat. Like, think of Jason Bourne Jason Bourne and John Wick. We don't want to let people enter our space, but when it happens, if it happens, how do you fight close hand-to-hand combat, right? Nick is a specialty in that. He has a specialty in that. This guy's a wealth of knowledge, like I've said about all these guys, but he's going to step back, peel the onion back on what you do when the attacker does come into your space and you are confronted with a bad predator, right? Nick's going to work on that. Corey, right here, he is an active, high-level Marine. I'm not ex-military. I'm not a law enforcement. And when I hang out with this guy, Corey, we did a run on Camp Pendleton, which is out here in Orange County. People stop and salute him. He is a big deal in the Marines, and it's an honor to have him on. He's going to talk about situational awareness as well. He's going to talk about profiling things. There's a book I've read, and the guy who wrote it was based on Camp Pendleton. It's called Left of Bang. Everybody knows how to react once the bang explosion or a bad incident happens. Everybody knows how to prep for what to do afterwards. You know, there's a checklist, there's a mental checklist, there's things that you do. But how do you prepare for left of the bang? How do you prepare to identify the threat before it becomes a danger? How do you profile people like, hey, you know, and I'm not trying to be political at all, but we do profile people. You do need to identify people as a threat. If this guy looks more dangerous than the next, I'm not racist, I'm not anything. I am just trying to keep my family safe. And if I can see that somebody else looks more dangerous than the next, then I'm going to avoid that person. I'm not going to insult them, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to make it, you know, go on a different path than this person. Corey's an expert at that. He's, like I said, he trains high-level Marines to go in combat. He knows his stuff, and it's an honor to have him be part of this 2-day event. Also myself right there. A little bit about me. I mentioned earlier, I'm not ex-military. I'm not law enforcement. I am just somebody 20 plus years ago, me and my buddy were fighting prison style, which means no neck. We had the gloves on and we were punching each other. I broke his ribs, and he went to his training. He was a server at a restaurant, and he couldn't do his job right. So the manager at the time said, "Hey, Tom, what are you doing? Why can't you hold your tray?" He says, "Oh, my buddy broke my ribs. We were sparring." And the guy turned out, he says, "Hey, you want to learn how to fight? Come to my studio. Come with me." Turns out this guy was an Olympian judo guy. So this is 20 plus years ago. This was before it was legal in California. So we couldn't have sanctioned cage fights. But we did have like an underground fight club, and I took it up like a sponge. And so I've been doing jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, all around MMA. Was doing smoker fights because we couldn't, you had to call them smoker because it was illegal. And so I just been involved in MMA for 20 plus years. So that's a little bit about me. I'm a protector. I've taken tons of tactical courses. I've done Krav Maga. I just soak it up like a sponge. So that's why I feel like I'm qualified to tell the average or teach the average person how to be hard to kill. Because I've been doing this forever. I talk about it, I get passionate about it, I get excited about it. And my wife said, you should really teach people because people listen to you, you're passionate about it, you know your stuff, you know how to do it all. And so that's kind of where this whole Savage Syndicate thing, you know, started to grow, was because I have all this knowledge, I know all these fighters, I know the community. How can I teach? And now in California, especially, there's people getting attacked every day. They don't wait now till 2 in the morning to come and attack you. They don't walk in your house at 2, sneaking around. They're blatantly attacking you in the streets. They're hitting you over the head. They're robbing you. And I'm tired of it. The more people I can help to not be a victim like that is what this class is all about. I'm not, like I said earlier, I'm not teaching you to be a UFC champion. I'm not teaching you to the next competition in jiu-jitsu. I want to give you guys the basic skills to protect yourself, to go out there and protect your family. Don't be scared walking around the streets. Don't be scared in a restaurant when you see it. Sorry. Don't be scared when you see a confrontation and you don't know what to do. You know, I've been in scary situations and I wasn't always prepared. But then I went to my guys and said, hey, this happened. What do I do? X, Y, and Z. So we do a lot of scenario-based training. So that's the skills I want to give you guys. I want to give you guys the ability to identify threats before they happen. And then when they do happen, and if God forbid they do get into your space, how to handle it. So that's a little bit about the instructors. But here's again, it's Ian McCall. He's going to talk about, right, proper technique, because a lot of people think, what I get a lot of the times is when I talk to people about what I do, they say, oh, I'll see a color, I'll see red, and I'll just handle myself. Or I'm the Tasmanian devil. You should have seen me in my heyday. I'm completely going to rely on some imaginary color, or they're going to rely on maybe their high school glory days when they knocked out some dude. Whatever the case may be, Don't rely on that. You need to learn proper technique on how to punch, right? Because you can break your hand, which I've done a few times. You need to learn the proper way to strike. So this is what Ian's going to teach you. He's going to teach you the most effective ways to strike, right? It's not going to be two people. Your attacker's not going to come to you and say, hey, Mr. Trevor, I would like to take all of your money and your watch. I'm going to do it in about 3 seconds. Can you prepare yourself? Attacks don't happen that way. They come from the side, they come from behind you, they come from every different angle. So you need to learn how to strike at all these different angles. You need to be prepared on how to fight at the drop of a hat. And that's not always going to be, you might have some bags in your hand, a grocery bag, a purse, your cell phone. You're going to have to learn how to strike from different areas. And that's what Ian's going to help you work on. You're going to have to work on blocking, right? Because if a guy does come at you quick and fast, how do you block? You parry. There's all these different techniques that you need to know, and balance, footwork. Um, like I said, you're not going to, most of the time, you're not going to square up and say, hey, let's go. Okay, this is it. Or meet you at 3 o'clock after this and that. It's going to be random. It's going to be when you least expect it. So you need to work on your balance. You need to work on your breathing techniques. You need to not hyperventilate. You need to breathe. Some people hold their breath. So he's going to walk you through all of these techniques and more in the striking category. That's what the groundwork. I kind of went over this before. You don't want to go to the ground. You want to do whatever you can. Go back to the last slide where footwork and balance, you want to stay on your feet. But like I said, 90-95% of the fights go to the ground. How do you get up quickly? There's techniques you do. You don't just like, oh, excuse me, attacker, hold on, let me get up. And then this. No, everything's got to be at a drop of a hat, and there's ways to do that. So there's ways to subdue your attacker. If there is a chance, like say the person's in the house or whatever the case may be, and you need to subdue a person, there's ways to do it with knee on belly, and you're still looking around for other threats. You don't just get a top guy and rear naked choke and just go to sleep, and then he's done. Because what if he has a friend? What if there's another attacker? What if there's a pedestrian who thinks now you're the attacker and they start bopping you on the head because they think you're the aggressor? There's 1,000 different scenarios of why you shouldn't be on the ground, but there's 1,000 different techniques that you can do to get up quickly, to subdue your attacker, to break and just break. I don't want to sound violent, but break, eye gouge, throat grab. You're going to do some nasty stuff because once that person has crossed the line, I've made a conscious decision in my mind of what I'm willing to do to protect my family. You can see here, this is my wife and son right there. I will do whatever it takes to protect them. You come into my domain, their domain, you come into where I feel safe, and you're going to have problems. And I've trained to do it. I've gone in my head 1,000 times that I will do it. And hopefully, I'll never have to prove that I can. But I want to know that I have that switch in my head. I've trained it. I've done it. I know what to do. And so that's what he's going to work on, the groundwork. Because it's not just submissions. If you're fighting for your life, it's nasty. I'm going to bite. I'm going to eye gouge. I'm going to rip your ear off. I'm going to do some violent, nasty things because you know why? If he's going to do all that stuff to me, now I'm done. I got a broken leg or I'm passed out from a choke. He gets up. What is he going to do? Rob me, hurt my family? And this is the nasty things that you have to think of. You kind of have to put your mindset like a criminal because I'm not going to say walking around like a criminal and think about how you could destroy somebody, but you have to put yourself in a nasty area before an attack happens to put yourself in that position of saying, hey, I'm willing to break somebody's leg. I'm willing to smash somebody because my number one is right there and they're more important to me. I may go to jail for something, but they're safe. And my number one rule in everything I do is come home to dinner with these two. I might offend people. I might break some stuff over protecting myself. I'm not saying I go to jiu-jitsu and I do crazy shit. I'm saying if you come into my world and you try to harm my family, my number one goal is to protect them. So I might do some unhonorable things in fighting and competition. I'm the most respectful person in the world. I'll help you up. I'll give you a high five. I'll do whatever it takes. But when you come at my family aggressively and try to harm me in any way, I hope that I've trained to flip the switch. I hope I have that capability because I played it in my mind so much. I've gone through the drills. We actually, when we see an ear, we make that, I got your ear off, right? You role play these things. So that's groundwork. There's definitely, Ian or Alex is going to teach you a lot more than what I talk about, but that's just to give you an idea. We talked a little bit about situational awareness. Um, the first two, striking and groundwork, is what happens when the attack comes, right? But part of self-defense is identifying any of these threats before you have to do any of that nasty stuff. Before I have to strike, before I have to do this. I don't want to do that. The last thing in the world is I want is a confrontation. Because what if I hit somebody in the head, they hit the ground, now they're dead, now I get charged with manslaughter. There's numerous bad things that can happen to a person when they start to engage. And me as the protector, it could happen to me. So the situational awareness is how to spot danger before it becomes a threat. And the moment you step out of your house, it starts. And I'm not saying to be paranoid. I'm not saying run around and army crawl to your car and then come out with your groceries and act paranoid. What I'm telling you is right now I'm green, right? Think of it as a traffic light. I'm in the color code green. Why? I can see out my window. I'm in my house. I know my dogs are barking. My wife's on a conference call, but I'm relaxed. I have weapons around that if anything comes too close, I can act, but I'm comfortable. Once I walk out that door, I become yellow. Not in a paranoid sense, not in the, oh crap, the world's against me, the zombies are coming, whatever scenario you want, I am just more cautious. I am now opening that garage door and I'm looking. Was anybody sitting out there watching me the last few days, knowing that I go to the gym at 5:30 every morning? Is there anybody on the street that shouldn't be there? Are there cars there that aren't supposed to be there? Is a car idling? Is there, whatever the scenario is, it all happens the moment I walk out of my door. So you go into yellow. Red, because the traffic light goes red, obviously you have to act. The confrontation, the threat is now in your space. Now what do you do? So that's what situational awareness is. There's tons of different tactics. Nick was ex-military. He has the proper technique. There's OODA loop. There's all these different what do you call them, like what is it, acronyms, for all this stuff. But crowd awareness, how do you do it when you go to a restaurant? You just go down, plop at any seat and just start hanging out and enjoying the show? No, you sit with your back to the wall. You know where the exits are. You're watching where the threats are. Are these two arguing? Are these two watching the game, getting a little violent? Are they getting rowdy? These things that you clock, right? They're now on your awareness. Not saying you have to go to these guys and say, hey, can you calm down? It's your choice if you want to, but can you calm down? Or I have to intervene in this couple fighting. I'm not Superman, and I don't pretend to be Superman. I'm just somebody who is aware of their surroundings, because these two right here, number one. And so I want to have the skills to protect them at all costs. It could be a car rushing through the restaurant. I have to act. It could be somebody, an active shooter. There's a numerous things that I'm aware of that we want to teach you guys to be prepared for. And again, I don't want to make it sound like I'm paranoid. I'm walking around in camo and doing the whole nine. I'm just somebody who's aware. And once you start thinking about this stuff, it honestly becomes second nature. You don't even think about it. Like I talk about this a lot on social media, and people come up afterwards, wow, I didn't even realize that. And to me, it's like, why didn't you realize that? That should be just, as you tie your shoes, as naturally as that, it should be in your head that that's what you do. That's what you need to think. Mental checklist. Wow, that guy did this, I need to do this. Or that guy's walking this way, or this guy's angry, or he's fidgety, he has his hands in his pocket. 99% of the time, there won't be a threat. But at least I'm clocking them, and I am aware of them, that if it does happen, I'm acting. Because the last thing I ever want to do is be surprised and have a surprise attack. You know who I'd be pissed at? Myself. For not clocking them, for not having my situation awareness on cue, and all these different things that I talk about. I'd be mad at myself. So Nick's going to talk about situational awareness. Also, Corey, like I said, he high-level Marine. He trains Marines to go to combat. So you can know the information this guy has, because you can't send a Marine or anybody into war, into a war-torn area, with just like, hey, look out for a guy who's frowning. Now go have fun. There's so many little innuendos. There's so many things that this guy knows. Again, it's an honor to have this Corey on here. So he's going to walk you through a lot of situational awareness tactics. And what they're going to do is, they're not going to say, hey, let's say de-escalation. They're not going to talk to you about de-escalation or de-escalating a situation. We're going to talk about it, and then we're going to do it. So Corey's going to say, hey, this is, a scenario. Maybe he can paint a picture or describe an incident that happened. This is what I did, or this is what my Marine did, or this is what X and XYZ did. Okay. So now, Trevor, Damon, come up. Let's do this. So we're not just going to sit down. There's definitely going to be striking and groundwork. Obviously, it's going to be hand on hand combat stuff. But we're also going to have a lot of learning, schoolwork kind of stuff where we're going to talk about it. I'm going to have a booklet for you guys to walk you through the steps. And then there's going to be a note-taking section. And so what we're going to do is like, hey, this is how you do this. Now let's get up and show you how to do it, and then pair up and we're going to do it. You at any level that you feel uncomfortable about, let us know. We'll there's no shame in stepping aside and saying, hey, I'm not really into, learn how to break an arm. Fine, not a problem. We are at any level that you guys want to go at is what we'll do. I urge you guys to take it all in and absorb it and go hard on it. But again, I want to make people, I don't want to scare people away, and I don't want to make people do uncomfortable things they don't want to do. Special guests. I'll tell you what, let me get another piece of water. When I first started creating Savage Syndicate, like I said, I've done a lot of tactical training, and it's 10 hours of ass kicking. One I went to with Tim Kennedy was 5-6 hours of hand-to-hand combat, and then 5-6 hours at a shooting range. I ate that stuff up. I love it. And that's kind of what I was basing this off of. And when I sat down with the instructors and said, hey, it's going to be from 8 in the morning to 8 at night, we're going to do striking and groundwork all day long. And they looked at me, and these are other fighters. They're like, you're going to kill people. Nobody wants to sit in a room like us and fight for 10 hours a day. Nobody wants to do that. I'm like, I love that stuff. That sounds great to me. So I dialed it back, and we put a lot more classroom stuff. The special guests that I have are going to be amazing. I don't know. I want to tell you guys, but I don't want to give away too much. We have 2 special guests that are going to come there and just walk you through more about what criminals think. They're going to talk about what in our realm is legal, right? Like I was talking about earlier. Those 2 are the most important to me. So I'm going to do some nasty stuff to protect them. Well, during that nasty stuff, what is the law actually going to say that was too nasty, or that was this, or that was that? Now you're going to jail, Josh. Okay. We're going to have people walk through that. So I have special guests that I'm going to, obviously when you're there, you're going to find out, but I'm really excited about it. We also, what are you going to get? What are you going to get? What are the benefits of people coming to the class? What do I want you to walk away with after the 2-day event, right? I want you guys to walk out of there with confidence that you will know how to handle yourself if a life or death situation happens. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of bad shit happening to good people. And I see people cowering, I see people running away, and that's fine. 100% run away, avoid conflict at all times. But what I hate to see is when attackers attack somebody and the person just curls up and the people keep pounding, right? They're not going to stop just because you don't want to defend yourself. So I want to give people the capability, if they engage, the basics, because most videos that I see when there's multiple attackers, you do one punch or you do some kind of a self-defense move, a combative, they cower, they run, they don't know how to fight, they don't know anything, they don't want a conflict, right? Most people are cracked out, they're on bad times, whatever the case is, they don't want a conflict from somebody. They want to take your stuff, your watch, your money, your purse, whatever, and go on to the next thing. They didn't wake up and say, hey man, I want to fight a really well-trained fighter right now. No, that's the last thing they want to do. They're going to lose teeth. They're going to break noses. They're going to have some bad shit happen to them. So I want to give you guys the skills that where you can make your attacker's life hell. And I'm not saying grab them and curb them and keep pounding on them. But if you grab, punch a throat, make them stop and go, whoa, that sucks. And then run and then call the cops and do all that stuff. But I want to give you guys the skills to where you can protect yourself and have the confidence to know that you can do so. And by no means am I saying go out there and start a street fight or go rob somebody, right? I tell my 9-year-old son all the time, we have like Liam Neeson says, we have a particular set of skills, and it's how you choose to use those skills. He's 9, and we're very strict about bullying. If he ever sees somebody getting bullied, he needs to step in. He needs to be the bigger person, and how hard it is to do, jump in there and protect that kid. Obviously, try to talk his way out of it and de-escalate the situation. But if he has to get hands-on, he has my permission to step in and protect another kid, because I hate, even me as a 47-year-old man, I hate it when I see somebody getting picked on. I hate bullies in general. And if he ever takes, so what I was going to was, you have to use your skills for good, not evil, right? Was that one show where not for evil. So you have to use what we're teaching you for good, and I hope hope you guys do that. Being able to defend your family and yourself and your family. We're gonna go over like clearing a room or clearing your house, because if a home invader does come in, do you know what to do? Do you have weapons? Do you know the line of sight of what, like for me, my son's room, the door to our master is here, and my son's room is behind it. So if I see somebody in the room, first I got to identify that it's not my son. And second, if I just start shooting, well, there's a good chance it's going to miss him and go into my son's room. So these are the things you got to think about. So defending your family, being prepared, taking what we are teaching you and going home, because not everybody is from Dana Point. Like I said, there's some East Coasters, there's some, up north on the West Coast. There's people all over coming to this thing. And my goal is that you take the information that you learned, it triggers something in your head, and you go home and you even extend your training further. Whether you sign up for jiu-jitsu, whether you sign up for Muay Thai, boxing, another self-defense course, whatever it may be. I know a lot of people in the community of fighting who teach self-defense, and I would never steer you away from their courses. I could recommend you a lot of different places. I think the message needs to be out more than worry about competitors and what this guy is doing and what that is doing. So I want to urge people to take the information, take the knowledge, go to their hometowns and pursue it further. I want you guys to be able to take the situational awareness that we teach you, identify the threats, and it becomes second nature to you. Like I said, there's so many things that I think about on the norm that people are like, whoa, that's a great idea. How did you do that? And I'm like, well, once you learn it, it just becomes second nature, right? You walk out, like you guys are in your car right now. Is there anybody around there? When you carry your luggage, do you have one hand free because you might have to act quickly? Do you have a weapon? Is it pepper spray, tactical pin? Are you carrying? All these things, once you get out of a car, you have to start thinking about, because you know who is? The person watching you, the person who's trying to attack somebody. They're thinking about all these things. They're not sitting there going, that kind of, they're walking slow. They're thinking all these things on an evil level, right? Oh, that person has his hands full. That person's looking down, making sure they have everything out of their car. You got to think one step ahead of them. So the situational awareness is something I want you guys to take away from this. Mentally being prepared, and yeah, just the confidence. I mean, everybody knows, or they should know, who the wrong people are to mess with. I'll tell you another important fact. It's not a fun fact because it makes me disgusted, but they asked pedophiles, convicted pedophiles in prison, and they ranks, like they showed up a bunch of people and they said, rank 1 through 10, what makes you attack certain kids? And they all said how the parents are. They look at the parents. Are the parents going to be easy? Are they going to fight back when they take little Johnny? And it's disgusting, and it's so disturbing. But you need to carry yourself with the confidence that you were the wrong one to mess with. I do it. I try to put out that aura. We were talking about it today, but I put out that aura of like, I'm the wrong one to mess with. Why? Because I don't care if you think I'm rude. I don't care if you think I'm a jerk. I'd rather be an alive jerk than a dead jerk. So I'm going to put off that aura. I'm the nicest guy in the world when you meet me. I'll shake your hand. I'm very polite. I'll talk about surfing, all the fun stuff. But if you don't know me, I kind of have a hep in my step of a little bit like, hey, I'm the wrong one to be choosing, because I know people are watching me. When I'm rolling around with my 9-year-old son, I know people are watching like, hey, not all are thinking the bad thoughts, but they're like definitely looking like, oh, that guy's good with his kid, or that guy's this. Whatever the case may be, I want the confidence. I want to put out that confidence that I'm the wrong one to mess with. And that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to walk out of that 2-day event with a little hep in your step, a little bit bigger peacock, and a little bit more confidence, knowing that if somebody does come at you, you'll know how to handle yourself. And so how do we do that? With striking, groundwork, and situational awareness. So those 3 things right there, I know this is level 1. There's going to be a level 2 where it's going to be a lot more hands-on. There's also going to be weapons involved, but that's the basic of these 2 days. Um, I have questions here that was people were asking me on Facebook and whatnot. But if anybody has questions here and they want to ask me, I can open it up right now if you guys want. I'll go through my questions here, and if you guys have a question, I think on the Zoom you guys can raise your hand or whatever. But let me go. Will there be contact, and if so, how much? Yes, there will be contact. Obviously, in the striking, you're obviously going to hit pads. Oh, here comes Ian right now, actually. It is going to be striking. You're going to hit the pads, you're going to hit stuff. And I want you to, we're going to do scenario-based training. So if an attacker does come at you, strike them. I'll have headgear. We have all this stuff. There will be contact. But like I said earlier, any level that you are uncomfortable with, you can walk away from. You can sit on the side. You can watch. A lot of people, we do this in jiu-jitsu class. You learn a lot from watching, right? Hands-on is great. I'm a hands-on learner. I like to do things, and that's how I learn. But if you're uncomfortable with any of the contact, don't feel ashamed. Don't feel bad about saying, hey, I'm just a little uncomfortable with learning how to break an arm or something. So yes, there will be contact. And at any level that you're not comfortable with, then step away. No harm, no foul. And we'll just continue with the class. And we'll have the booklet where you can take notes. Another one is, what level do I need to be to be at the class, be an attendee? This is for everybody. We have a 13-year-old kid. We have adults. We have men, women. This is, like I said, the fundamentals of self-defense. This isn't, I'm going to get you your first cage fight after this 2-day event. You're not going to be ready for a jiu-jitsu tournament. You're not going to be ready to go to Thailand and do fighting out there. That's not what this is about. So this is for every level. Men, women, kids, it doesn't matter. I have a 9-year-old son. He trains. He might be there, but I want the average person. That's why I stress the most about this. This is for the average person. I'm in the fight community. I hang out with killers and I learn from them so much, but I want the average person to feel comfortable about, one, being there, and I want them to feel comfortable with the curriculum, what they're learning. So yes, this is for everybody. Fitness level, I would urge you to come there in shape because you are going to do some physical stuff. But I understand not everybody is going to be in prime fighting condition. And just like you're not going to be in prime condition when you get attacked, right? You might get, have the flu or COVID or whatever, and you get attacked. You can't tell your attacker, hey, excuse me, I'm sick right now. Can you come back in 2 weeks and attack me? So yes, it helps to be in shape. We're going to do some calisthenics. We're going to do some striking. We're going to do physical stuff. So the healthier you are going into it, it's a month and a half away, obviously is going to be more beneficial to you. But if you can't run a mile on a treadmill, it's not, I don't, do not come to the event because we're not going to kill you there. Again, somebody asked, can a woman come or women attend? 100%. Like I said earlier in the thing, women are getting attacked just as much as men. More women. We're going to have some scenarios like the rape scenario and stuff like aggressive men kind of scenario training because, like I said earlier, I hate bullies. I hate sexual predators. I hate anybody who's preying on weaker individuals. And so we want to wrap around and give you the tools to attack any of these people, to defend yourself against any of these people. So like I said, men, women, kids, all are welcome. And I urge you guys all to come because like I said, there's bad shit happening to good people every day. And it doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is. It doesn't matter what your political system, who you are, it doesn't matter. Bad shit's happening to good people. So anybody's welcome in this class. We kind of went through this with one of the other questions. If I don't want to participate, can I opt out? 100%. We want to put you guys through the ringer. We want to make it hard for you, but we're not there to kill you. So if you're uncomfortable, you're feeling a little tired, we're going to have breaks. We're going to have water. We're going to have snacks. We're going to, like I said earlier, I wanted to have 10 hours of fighting, right? That's not the average person. So we're going to have snacks. We're going to have water. We're going to have lunch catered for you guys. I want to make it as comfortable for you guys to learn and to push yourselves. But at anything that you guys feel uncomfortable with, yes, you can say, "Hey, I'm not comfortable." And believe me, jiu-jitsu class every night, there's guys who take a round off. It doesn't matter how big, how badass you think you are, everybody needs a break. So don't feel uncomfortable. This is a room full of elite protectors, but we all have hearts. We're all teachers at one level or another, and we all understand that, hey, people need breaks, people need water, people need it. So anytime you're uncomfortable, I prefer you let one of us know so we know, you don't think you're hurt or anything. But yes, go ahead, raise your hand and say, hey, I want to, sit this one out. No harm, no foul. Again, I already answered this one. Will there be food provided? Yes. There's tons of little healthy spots around there that are going to that you can go to yourself if you want to prep and have a certain thing that you want to eat. And we'll let you snack throughout the day, but we are going to have it catered for food. Friday night, we're going to meet at a restaurant, have a little meet and greet because Saturday morning, I want to get right into it. So Friday night, we'll have a dinner and, introduce everybody, talk to everybody who's there. We'll meet and greet, talk to you about the 2 days that's coming, give you guys your booklet then, and Saturday morning, jump right into training. So food will be provided. We'll have some water there for you guys, but if anything on it, like, special dietary things that you guys have, gluten-free, dairy-free, whatever, we'll try to accommodate that because my family is that way too. We don't do dairy and we're kind of, about 90% plant-based. So we will have a healthier option for lunch. So if you guys, want to go out and pig out on a cheeseburger or something, you're more than welcome to. But again, we're going to be doing live training, so I don't want a cheeseburger being thrown up on the mats. But the option is there for you guys. There's tons of food. There's a Rouse right behind us, but you guys will have food options. So that's what I have on the questions from social media. If any of you guys have any questions, I can answer them now. But if not, we can start wrapping this up. So if you guys haven't signed up yet, more information there's here. I'll leave a link when I replay this because I know that's kind of a long URL there. But yeah, I look forward to training with you guys. If you guys have questions and you haven't signed up, definitely reach out to me on social media. I respond to everybody: Facebook, Josh Brisbane, Instagram, Josh Brisbane. I'm looking forward to it. We got awesome things for you guys. Like I said, we have some special guests. We have the instructors alone. I get excited about this. I could go on for this about 3 or 4 hours, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. You guys have been great. If you have any more questions on the side that you want to reach out about and let me know, I'm here for you guys, and I look forward to it. You have a question? Or is somebody? All
No,
right.
no, I'm looking forward to it too, man. We're super stoked. So,
Perfect. Well, yeah, you guys are in your car right now, so watch out when you're walking out of there
yeah,
to go to that hotel. But I look
yeah,
forward to seeing you guys as
we'll check
well.
out
Thank you
later.
thank you for signing up. If you
All
guys
right,
have any questions, reach out to me, and I look forward to seeing you guys in February. Stay safe, stay
all
savage,
right,
stay hard to kill. See you guys.
all right. Later.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something you want to do, Zeke.